Hey everyone, Cody here with Let's Talk About Scents. Today we're going to be talking about Marlou, a company created by Briac Frocrain out of Paris, France. The name Marlou was given to Briac growing up as a nickname, so that is what he has named his fragrance company. There are 3 fragrances currently available on his website for purchase: Carnicure, Ambulux, and Poidrextace. These are some of the most interesting fragrances I've ever had an experience of smelling. Very unique. They work with notes described as animal, just the proximity of animal and the human skin, the musk, the intimacy and primal bond that we have between animal and human is what he has created here. One of the coolest things about these is all of his bottles, his samples and his full-size bottles, come in this amber glass. They look like little tincture glass that would be for, like plant and animal liquids, ethanol, stuff like that. Kind of have this old reminiscent vibe of vintage medicinal bottles, especially the larger bottles. They look just like those, look like a old dropper bottle. They have a cork top on them, and everything is biodegradable that he uses. So they are made to be thrown out and more or less environmentally conscious and friendly, which is super, super neat. So as little as plastic is used as possible. And also on amber glass, it protects the ingredients inside. So what he was able to do with this amber glass was create a product to where he had to use as little as additives as possible to keep his fragrances inside these little glass bottles as safe as possible. Very, very, very neat. I absolutely love when that much effort not only goes into your fragrance, but into the packaging and design, that there's a purpose behind that as well. Super cool. Love that about these. With that being said, on the products, again, dealing with animal, castoreum, dealing with civet, all of these animal type fragrances in that, which we'll get into whenever I tell you about the notes on these. But super, super, super interesting. Like I said, musk, skin notes, dealing with that sweat and animal and fur, even hair. It's quite crazy. So if you're not used to that stuff, once again, I've talked about subjectiveness in fragrance, what smells good to you, and someone else. It's all going to be different. The nose is so subjective. So always sample before purchasing a full bottle. But with that being said, let's get into the bottles here and the notes themselves. This one right here is, well, can't really see it. This is Carnicure, which is orange blossom, violet, patchouli, sandalwood, labdanum, and musk, and civet. On this one, I noticed a lot of, it's very musky. A lot of musk going on the skin. I tried them on tester strips too. Didn't pick up much of the same characteristics as you do on skin, which these are, obviously, they're made for skin. They're not made for tester strips. So a lot of musk on the skin with this one. The civet is very strong in this fragrance. If you're not familiar with civet, if it's diluted, it can be very floral, have like an orris quality to it, kind of creaminess. But when it is not, it is very animalistic. It is a very, very strong quality of animal. We're talking hair, urine, you name it. Civet can be a very potent. I noticed that the civet was very, very potent in this, but blended quite well with that skin musk. It's definitely a different fragrance. Next up, we have Ambulux. Ambulux is cumin, helicysum, ylang ylang, incense, and costus. I noticed on this one the ylang ylang, more or less in the opening of this, lingers throughout the fragrance. Majority of the time, you have that costus and incense, though, is majority of this fragrance. You are going to have an incense and costus ride throughout the whole entire fragrance. The costus on this one is very orris kind of, again, with that creamy orris, but it leaves a very musky smell. Very musky, kind of, don't really know how to explain it. Damp in a way, like a damp musk, very deep musky orris smell that I get from this one. On to the last one here, which was Poidrextes. This was my favorite out of all of them. Rice powder, rose, cypress, tonka beans, and civet. I noticed with this one, the rose and the cypress on this come through very, very, very strong. That rose hits you immediately in the opening. That cypress, very strong, right with that, just combining, making a very bright floral fragrance. The one thing that I loved about this one is the civet that he used in this. Most definitely had a diluted like quality to it, left a very velvety floral scent to it, which was really nice. And the dry down on this one, you are left with a very creamy vanilla resinous quality. This one out of the three for me was the most enjoyable. The other two I wasn't so crazy about. They are most definitely on that line of subjectiveness. Like I said, they are for someone. I'm sure Briac does fantastic in his business and in his sales, and he loves, I'm sure, all of his creations. They're just not for me. But the Poidrextes, I would recommend to anyone. This is a fantastic fragrance. Like I said, very creamy vanilla, very strong rose and cypress, velvety floral. Really nice on that one. So that's the 3 samples that he sent over to me, and that's the 3 fragrances that he carries on his website. Very unique fragrances. Like I have always said, always sample, guys. He sent me over these samples. I will most definitely be looking into a full purchase on the Poidrextes. That's the one that I like the most out of all of these. And I'm glad that I got to try the samples to know that that's the one that I like the most. So like I said, always sample. Don't blind buy or go by others' opinions on, what they think. These are all my opinions. These are all what I think of these fragrances and these ingredients in this. And that's going to be different for someone else. So make sure to always sample. I'm going to leave the links to his website in the description below, the link to his Instagram, all of my links. If you liked this video and you took anything from it, please, if you would, consider subscribing. It helps me out so much. I'm just trying to gain and build an audience right now. I love this. Fragrance is my passion. I love doing this. I love making reviews for you guys. And I hope to do so many more in the future. I have great things coming, so always be on the lookout for that. Subscribe, hit that bell notification. If you have any questions or you want to just show that love, do that in the comments. Hit that like, and be sure to share this with everyone. If you love fragrance as much as I do, or you know someone that does, be sure to share. And we will see you next time on the next review. Thank you all so much. Have a great day.